in this room. I'm about to hit hot fire soon. You better bring your ass all in this room. I'm gonna spit some hot fire soon. Late at night, spitting this hot fire from my nigga's lips. I'm freestyling, the beat's hot. Yo, where all of the thoughts? Shit, I don't know what to rap about. Shit. What's going on right now, man? Welcome to Tariq Radio. I'm here, ready to chop up game, man. Glad to have y'all in. We're going to have a great time tonight, as we always do. Let everybody know that I'm broadcasting live right now so we can chop it on up. And what we're going to do, you know how we do. We're going to take a commercial break so you can patronize our sponsors. And we will be right back after this brief message.
Yo, you still ain't getting women? Really? Come on, son. You need to go to badboymembership.com and step up your game. What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game, and I'm telling you that if you really want to attract beautiful women, you need to go to badboymembership.com. This is where you get 45 through 90-minute step-by-step dating advice tutorials every month. Just sign up, follow the advice, and you'll get the women you want. Go to badboymembership.com. That's badboymembership.com.
You need to get your Second Amendment game up right now. That's why you need to check out my friends at RedstoneFirearms.com. They are a black-owned gun training and gun selling operation, and they have two locations right out here in Southern California. They have one in Burbank, and they have a location in Ontario. So get your Second Amendment game in order. Get your gun training in order. Go to RedstoneFirearms.com right now. Also, check them out on Instagram at Redstone Firearms. Check them out on Facebook at Redstone Firearms. So get your Second Amendment game up right now with a black-owned company, RedstoneFirearms.com.
Okay, Marcellus, I could tell you all about it. The tower becoming a lady or a gentleman, a letter series. I want the whole world to hear me. These are the principles of self-mastery. You are in control of your own path and your own destiny. I know this for sure. So many things that'll have you questioning, recognizing deception and make sure that you get the book. Once again, I just had to mention it. The tower of becoming a lady or a gentleman. That's right. Of letter series, yes indeed, I highly recommend. Make sure that you buy it. Make sure that you get it. Written by Neo K. Marcellus. The tower becoming a lady or a gentleman. That's right. Of letter series, yes indeed, I highly recommend. Okay. Make sure that you buy it. Make sure that you get it. Written by Neo K. Marcellus. Make sure that you get it on Amazon.com today. The tower becoming a lady or a gentleman of letter series.
What's up, family? On Code Clothing is the official uniform of the movement that we call Black Empowerment. They've empowered so many people for so long. Now it's time for us to make the empowerment the new global trend. On Code is a brand that's exclusive and not for general consumption. You dig? You gotta be codified to even appreciate this thing of ours. So get the fly summer gear at OnCodeClothing.com. Use the discount code HC5 at checkout and save an additional 10% when you purchase 2 or more items. So go to OnCodeClothing.com. Check out the Cookie Confidant. These are some delicious cookies from a black-owned cookie company down there in Houston, Texas. The Cookie Confidant's motto is you deserve premium, and with that being said, all of their cookies are made with high-quality ingredients. I've had these cookies myself. They are delicious, delicious, delicious. You need to go check them out on Instagram at Cookie Confidant, and also check out their website, cookieconfidant.com, and order you a batch right now.
The year is 2079. The futuristic nation of New Albion has been created to maintain a new racial apartheid system. There is a planned genocide that is going to target the nation's black population. A small group of black revolutionaries band together to launch guerrilla warfare attacks against their oppressors. Do they fail or do they succeed? Find out the answer by reading the book Avoid the Machines, the new novel by author Scotty Vasco. Avoid the Machines. Now available on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com.
You are now tuning into the legendary Tariq Nasheed.
I gave a little blood on that bridge in Selma.
On Tariq Radio.
I say whoever threw that paper, your mom's a hoe.
We're here. We're back. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Tariq Radio. Ready to chop it up. I hope you guys have your copy of Hidden Colors 5. And by the way, a lot of folks are still asking about their DVDs. We're still sending them out. We got a lot of DVDs that we're sending out still. We're flooded with orders, and we are getting everybody's DVDs out as we speak. As man, we're still hiring people too. We got so many orders coming in. So if you're in LA or you're in the Valley area, you need a job, hit me up because we're very, 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 very busy, ladies and gentlemen. So we're getting those DVDs out. So everybody hang tight, especially the people on Indiegogo. We've gotten half of those out. We're getting the other half out next week. Ladies and gentlemen, we're sending so many DVDs out. I'm talking about like batches of 5 and 10,000 at a time. We're getting like major orders. So we're sending these things out. They're going out faster than we can get them printed. And that's a good thing. Those are good problems. Those are good problems. But we're getting your DVDs out. We're getting them out. And especially Friday, we got a lot of them because we're getting a whole brand new, we're getting like 30,000 DVDs to the office. So we're going to be shipping out a lot this Friday. So yeah, the demand just quadrupled, you know, with the whole controversy with the UK ban. When that happened, that just took us to a whole new level. But we're getting them out. Oh yeah, we're getting them out, ladies, and plus just the reviews. Not just that, the reviews. Everybody loves the film. Everybody across the board is critically acclaimed. Everybody who's seen the film said this is hands down not only the best Hidden Color series, this is the best documentary ever. I won't even argue with that. I won't even argue with that, ladies and gentlemen. And when you have a successful film series like that, there are copycat projects that come out the woodworks. And we've seen that. We've seen the mainstream media, Hollywood, do their little versions of what we do. And they are doing something recently. And I'm going to get into that later on in the show. That's with that 1619 project. We're going to get into that a little bit later in the show. But I hope everybody has their copy of the film at hiddencolorsfilm.com. If you're overseas, definitely get it off Amazon. You will get it faster because they have cheaper shipping. When we have to ship overseas from our office, we have to, unfortunately, we got to fill out all types of documents and shipping. And then there's a lot of delays because I get people ordering from South Africa, Norway, all over the place. And for some reason, we always get problems with the delivery. We get calls from FedEx overseas and they can't deliver to your spot. Then they call us and it costs a grip for them to send it back. So y'all if you're overseas, get it off Amazon so there will not be any problems. Because I don't want no angry motherfucker from Congo calling me, hey nigga, where's my DVD? I ordered the DVD a month ago. You niggas ripped me off. You know, I get those calls from angry brothers from the Congo. You dig? So shout out to my Congolese brothers. Don't be mad. We getting them out there. That's why just get them off Amazon so y'all don't call my office mad. You dig? It's always motherfucker just ordered one DVD, man. Some people who order like 50 DVDs, they don't trip. You know, they're patient. It's always that motherfucker who done spent $20 whole. Wait, what is this shit? This is a ripoff. What is this? I work hard for my money. Nigga, we getting the damn DV out. Umduge, we getting it out, brother. Shit. All right. Motherfucker calling up. I hear Jollof rice boiling in the back. Like, shit, get that rice ready, nigga. But I digress, ladies and gentlemen. I digress. But anyway, what else is happening in the news? Y'all know that Philly shooting, quote unquote shooting, that everybody's very skeptical about. Many people believe that it was a false flag or operation. There are so many unanswered questions about that quote unquote shooting, that standoff in Philly that happened a few days ago, where they said it was a black dude in an apartment complex shooting at police. They said he shot hundreds of rounds of an AK-47, yet he was just grazing people with a damn chopper, which don't make no sense. Choppers don't really graze people, and the odds of you grazing 6 people, you didn't kill anybody with the damn chopper, that didn't make sense. Still doesn't make sense. Also, people are talking about how that shooting, there were cops running around looking like they were pouring blood on each other. So many things were looking off and weird about that damn shooting. Now today an article came out saying that the shooter worked for the damn feds. This dude was working with the damn feds. He was a federal snitch. So now there's more layers to the BS. The rabbit hole goes real deep. So now you're telling me a federal informant just snapped and started shooting and grazing people and I can't even. Come on, man. Come on, we knew something was funny style. Now it's real funny style. Notice how these informants all of a sudden go on these little shooting sprees, quote unquote. Just like Eric Holder, aka Shitty Cuz, out here in LA with the Nipsey thing. Remember, he was an informant. These dudes with these long, crazy rap sheets, but they're still out on the streets, and then they're doing these high-profile shootings, and they just happen to work with law enforcement. So all of that stuff, man, don't miss it. Yeah, who grazes with a damn AK? I'm not buying that. A chopper tears up the whole block. He's grazing people's hands and legs with a chopper. That didn't make sense at all to me. And just the fact that those videos looking like those cops were pouring blood on each other's hands, that was funny style. So look, we got to be careful with these false flag operations. We got to be careful. These are Nazi tactics. These are the same type of Nazi tactics they use. And speaking of Nazi tactics out there in Fresno, this is another thing we got to watch out for, family. These people are going full Nazi. They were raiding people's houses in Fresno, or black people. They don't raid. You notice white folks don't get raided like that. Innocent white people. They went into this area, this apartment complex, just pulling innocent black people out of their houses, out of their apartments in Fresno under a gang, quote unquote, gang sweep. See, that's the pretext and the lie they use to round up a lot of black people. You got to be very careful. This is the game they're playing out there. We better be prepared. But they were doing this whole gang operation, going into an apartment complex, beating on the door, telling everybody to come outside on some Nazi shit. And there was one kid, he's 17 years old. They frisked him. He's in his socks, and they cleared him. And then another one of the race soldiers started beating on him, started socking him and punching him, bloodying this kid up. And the family is suing. The race soldier's name is Christopher Martinez, little white Latino. He's a boxer / police officer. We pulled all the receipts on him, by the way. But again, these Nazi style tactics, man, we gotta be psychologically and physically prepared for these Nazi tactics. The thing is getting real out here. They start pulling people out of their homes, we're getting into Nazi territory, and it's going to get worse. So we got to be ready. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. See, another white Latino, this is why immigration, black people, immigration is the last thing that foundational black Americans need to be focusing on. we're literally, if we support immigration, we're signing our own death warrants with this, because all these people do is come over here after we fight for them and join with the oppressor class against us. It's completely illogical for us to support immigration at this point. We got to be real about that. We got to close ranks and circle our wagons and look out for ourselves. And speaking of circling our wagons, with Daniel Pantaleo, you know, they finally fired him after 5 years, and you know, the right-wing people are yelling, woes me, but this is a come up for Pantaleo. Just like I predicted, they got a GoFundMe for him. It raised like $100,000 in a day. That thing raised $100,000 damn near overnight. So he's going to be fine. You know, the white supremacists always look out for each other with their lynching funds, because Eric Garner was lynched. And that's the language that we have to use. We have to use that language and tell the truth. Let's stop pussyfooting around with what's happening. We're letting the white supremacists control the narrative. Eric Garner was lynched by Pantaleo, and the white supremacist society, they're okay with that. Lynchings of black people, that's the thing that brings all white supremacists together. They codify and get on code around lynching us. That was a public lynching. Always refer to that as a public lynching. Lynching ain't just with rope. Lynching is not just with rope. You can lynch people many ways. Many times they just shot somebody and that was a lynching. We equate lynching with rope, but just killing a person through extrajudicial means, that's a lynching. So he was lynched, and Pantaleo's, all they're going to do is transfer him. They're going to give him all that money, and on the GoFundMe page, they're using the Nuremberg defense. Well, Pantaleo was fired for just doing his job. Watch those terms. White supremacists like saying that type of stuff. That's the same thing that they said in Nazi Germany. That's called the Nuremberg defense. Well, we were just following orders. We were just doing our job. Watch out for that term. When you hear somebody use that term referring to a race soldier, you're listening to a straight up white supremacist. So we have to look at these folks for what they are. See, we're going to have to look at these white supremacists and accept that there is no living side by side with them. They're not going to allow that. You're not going to live side by side with them in peace. See, we think if we just coon it up and just accept subjugation, we're going to be cool. They're not in that mode right now. Right now, they're in survival mode. So it ain't going to be the happy plantation thing no more. Right now, they got genocide on their mind. So the side by side thing ain't going to happen. You know, they did that when their numbers were strong back in the day. They would put you in the slave quarters in the back and sneak out there with you and lay up. You can be a bed buck, you could be a bed wench, but nah, that's a little bit different. It's a little bit different now. Now y'all gotta go. We gotta go to them. It's cleanup time, and now the stage is being set. And they're letting each other know, and they're letting us know they mean business. There was a case out there in North Carolina. There was a white supremacist who had a baby with a bed wench. He has a black daughter. She's 15 years old. A couple of days ago, he raped and killed his black 15-year-old daughter. John Burris. Or is it Burgess? I got to look it up again. But this is out there in North Carolina. A little girl named Zaria, beautiful child. And this was his biological daughter. This very sad case. And the police were acting confused. Oh no, we don't know what the motive is. We don't know what caused him to snap. What the hell happened? Oh my God, we don't know what's going on. Let me tell you something. When I first saw the story, remember, the media the mainstream media, they were hiding the daughter. They weren't showing what the daughter looked like in a lot of media articles. Yes, this was right outside of Charlotte. They were hiding what the daughter looked like. And when I saw the picture of him, he looks like one of them alt-right type of dudes. And when they said he killed his own daughter, he slit her throat, I said, wait a minute. Just looking at this guy, because the white supremacists, they don't really kill their children like that because they're on some, well, we gotta preserve the white race, so white children are a big commodity with the white supremacists. So I said, if this dude killed his daughter, two things. His daughter must be a white girl who's dating a black dude. That's why they would kill their daughters. Or he must have a daughter with a bed wench. Then I looked it up, and he had a daughter with a bed wench. And I did some more research on this guy, and this is why it's important to find people's Facebook pages before they take them down. This is why it's important to find people's Facebook pages. I found his Facebook page. Now, this guy has a bunch of pictures with his black daughter. Oh, my daughter, look at my daughter, look at my daughter, look at my daughter. And then he would post some low-key racist shit on there. There was a picture he had that had, it was a popular meme that's on some of the little white supremacist websites of Obama and Michelle looking at a banana, and they're kind of making faces, and the white supremacists are kind of referencing them as being apes. What's the guy's name? Is it Burgess or Burris? Is it Burgess or Burris? John Burgess or Burris? It's one of those. Is it Joshua or John? I've been dealing with so many white supremacists in the media for the last couple of days. I know the daughter's name is Zaria. It's Burgess. Okay. But anyway, I'm looking at his page. I see a couple of racist memes and all this stuff. And there's a lot of Trump support. He's a big Trump supporter. Even his family has a redneck family. They're a bunch of Trump supporters. I stand for the flag. Kaepernick is bad. These players are ungrateful. Those kind of folks. Yeah, Joshua Lee Burgess. That's his name, guys. Joshua Lee Burgess. Then I looked at his page, looked at some of the things that he liked in some of the pages he followed, and there was this satanic occult page that he followed, and that's what I was looking for. I said, there we go. That's what I thought. He's following one of these satanic occult ritualistic organizations. And remember, a lot of these organizations, those satanic groups, their ideology is seeped in white supremacy. And they're all about blood sacrifices. Groups like Adam Waff and all these guys, they do ritualistic killings, and the best people in their ideology to do these ritualistic killings on are black people because we're more vulnerable. We're easier targets. So the way he raped and killed his daughter, that's some old demonic Satanism type of thing that these white supremacists are commonly into. Now, the media is not going to tell you this. This is why it's up to us to act as the true media and put two and two together. But I want y'all to understand this is what you're dealing with. And there are other white supremacists in white supremacist organizations. Notice a lot of them will have bedwench mistresses or girlfriends or even wives. I've seen a lot of Proud Boys with bedwench sisters they got mixed kids. One of the guys who's a part of Europa, Identity Europa, that's another white supremacist organization. They were out there in Charlottesville. One of the leaders there, he has a little light-skinned bedwench that he's dating. These dudes, man, a lot of times they have these children so they have children by these bedwenches so they can have live-in torture slaves, people that they can torture, rape, and ultimately kill. No different from the plantations back in antebellum slavery. No different. These people cultivate their own victims. They will give birth to their own victims. Remember, black people can't fathom this type of thing. Black people can't fathom this type of evil mentality. But they do stuff like this. They did it in slavery. They would have sex with sisters, the slave owners and the overseers. They would have sex with sisters, have these babies, do God knows what to the babies, sell them, put them out in that plantation. What makes you think they don't do that now? We don't understand. We just don't understand how demonic these white supremacists are. We just don't fathom that. We think, like Bobby Hemmett used to say, we think that they think like us. No, we think totally different. Yeah, somebody in the chat room says, just like in the Barge family. Exactly. We just can't fathom how deep the deprived mind of these people is. It's real heavy. And there's no reasoning with them. We got to stop that. We got to stop trying to be on some kumbaya. Let me fix them. Jesus is going to help me lead the way with them. And stop it. No. We got to be in protection mode. We got to be in kamikaze mode if need be to protect ourselves from these demons. It's a battle of good and evil on this planet, and the evil of the white supremacists. It's that simple. This is why you can't cut deals with them. You got to be unapologetic with fighting them. That's why I don't let up off of them. And you got to stop being scared. You got to stop being afraid. There's no reasoning with them. You can't logic with them. It's not going to happen. They're devoid of all logic. I was ear hustling. I heard a conversation with an elderly white dude at the doctor's office. I was at the doctor's office the other day. A couple of days ago, I was at the doctor's office. And in the lobby, there was an old white man there. And I'm just kind of ear hustling the conversation. He was talking to a couple of other white women. I don't know if those white women were with him or if they were just random people, but he was just spouting. Okay, y'all asking why? Okay, y'all getting in my medical business. It wasn't for the gout. All right, but since y'all want to know, since motherfuckers gonna be playing guessing game, while I went to the doctor, had to drop off a damn stool sample. All right. I went a couple of days before. They were like, well, we want to get some stool samples to check for colon cancer. And I said, you want to do who? You want to do what? And you want to do where? Well, we want to check you for colon cancer. Just give you a colon cancer checkup. I said, I'm kind of busy right now. No. You don't have to do it now. Yeah, I'm about to opt out this motherfucker real quick. I'm about to, I'm about to start niggersplaining. Well, I got to pick the kids up. No, you can take it home. No, you can take it home. If somebody getting old, yeah, I'm getting old. They're like, yeah, you need to get your colon checked. All right. So they were like, yeah, you could take it home and do it. I'm like, how the hell am I going to do that? And then they pulled out this stick with a brush on the end. I said, wait a fucking minute. I'm not Lil Nas X. It's not about to be an Old Town Road up in this bitch. I said, no. It's not what you think. I said, okay, what's all this? They start pulling out all this stuff and bags and sticks. I said, hey, come on. She was like, no, what you do, you when you go to the bathroom and do your business, you get the brush and just rub it on the stool. You rub it on the stool, and then in this little packet here, you just put a little dab right here and then you close it. Okay, all right. So you gave a nigga a bussy brush. All right. Okay, good. Long as I don't have to stick nothing up in me. Good. Okay, we can work with that. All right. So anyway, that's what I was doing since you motherfuckers want to know my business. All right. Since y'all want to know my business, all right? So anyway, I'm there with a stool sample in a plastic bag and the bussy brush is in the plastic bag. So I'm sitting there chilling with the elderly, my old ass and some other old white people. And they probably got bussy brushes themselves. We're having a bussy bake-off at the doctor's office. We're having a bussy bar mitzvah at the doctor's office. So I hear this old man. So the old man is just kind of talking like, yeah, I lived out here when I lived in the valley. It was a dirt road. I'm like, how old is this motherfucker? I remember there's nothing but tumbleweeds out here. I mean, he's that old. He's like old as hell. There wasn't even a panorama city out here. He's just throwing out factoids. And he was talking about, yeah, my parents were immigrants when they came over here. And you know what? We never got on any welfare. And I'm like, is this motherfucker saying that because I'm here? And then he start talking about welfare. I'm like, is he trying to throw shade or some shit? Or is he just running his old ass decrepit mouth? I almost got offended, but I'm like, maybe he's just talking, he's just running his mouth. He's just talking, well, me and my family never take a dime of welfare. Okay. And I wanted to interject. I wanted to say, sir, whiteness is welfare. Y'all came over in the height of Jim Crow as old as you are. So you probably were born in 1893. So y'all were in the height of Jim Crow. Jim Crow was welfare for white people. Miss me with that, we don't get welfare. That's what white supremacy is. It's welfare for white people. Unearned benefits and privileges for white people. That's what white supremacy is. By default, you get unearned benefits just based on you being white. Miss me. Y'all got free land for just being white, free home loans and home grants just for being white, jobs just for being white. I wanted to say that, but I didn't want him to throw his bussy brush on me with his colon samples. So I'm like, okay. It's funny that they have these little delusional conversations with each other. This is what they have. These are the conversations. Yeah, the New Deal. Give me a break. Whiteness is welfare. You don't take no welfare. I wanted to say that so bad. I wanted to bust his fucking bubble, but I didn't want him to have a stroke and then they blame me. You dig? But I digress as far as that, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier today, there was a meme circulating around social media where they were talking about how straight men don't want to date trans people because of hate. And it was circulating around and people were getting a little upset about it. And then some people from the white LGBT community started hollering about, oh, that's a hoax. Oh, that's not real. Oh, that came from 4chan. And then in other media outlets, there was a similar story talking about a black guy committed suicide because he was taunted because he dated a trans person. And black people taunted him and he ended up killing himself. And I want people to understand, a lot of times they will manufacture their own hoax and mix it in with real stories. They will manufacture something that's real outrageous just to get the narrative out there. And then when you call them out on the outrageousness of the narrative, they can fall back and say, oh, that's just a hoax. But then they'll start putting out similar stuff. And I've been telling y'all, this is what they're going to try to do. They'll throw it out there, and then when they get called out on it, they'll say, "Oh no, we didn't say that. Oh, that was just a hoax." It's just like that okay hand signal that the white supremacists do. Remember, they kept saying it was a hoax, it's a hoax, it's a hoax, and then white supremacists started killing people and throwing that hand sign up, and they still try to say it's a hoax, but now so many white supremacists murder people and start doing that hand sign, they manufacture their own hoax. So we got to be, like I said, when white supremacists start making hoaxes and joking and all that stuff, that's a pretext to their violence. That's always a pretense to their real violence. And what they're going to do, I'm telling black people, what they're going to do, especially when they're targeting children with talking about teaching them LGBT history, they're going to start coming to straight black people and saying, if you don't want to have sex with trans people, then you're homophobic, and homophobia is a crime, and they're going to start trying to criminalize you for not wanting to get with trans people. So if you don't want to be raped, because that's what that is, if you're forced to date somebody you don't want to date, or they're trying to shame you or force you to be with somebody sexually, that's rape. That goes back to buck breaking. And I'm telling y'all now, I've been telling y'all for the longest, and they're going to ramp this up. If black dudes, and it's only going to be for us, they only target us with this stuff. Just like they did with Genuine on that show, when that trans white man tried to kiss on him and he didn't want to kiss him, they were like, oh man, that's hatred. They were trying to paint Genuine as homophobic. I'm telling y'all, that's where they're going to try to go with it, and this is what they're going to do to the children at school. I told y'all, with that LGBT history, basically they're going to try to ease that pedophilia in there, and then they're going to scare the children. When the children start asking, hey, what's a transsexual? They're going to say, well, that's a person who has a man part and a woman part. Well, what kind of parts are that? Well, that's his pee-pee. Oh, I don't want to have nothing to do with that. Well, little Jimmy, you sound like you're homophobic. What's that? Well, that means you hate trans people. Now, being homophobic is illegal, Jimmy. You know, you can, if you do something against the law, that's illegal, being homophobic. There are federal laws against being homophobic, little Jimmy. Really? Yeah, Jimmy. And if you're homophobic, that means you're committing a crime and you'll go to jail and you'll never see your mommy. Really? Oh, I don't want that to happen. I don't want to be homophobic. Oh, okay. Well, this is why you got to accept trans people. You have to accept bisexual people, little Jimmy. You have to accept them. Okay, I'll accept them. You see, that's where it's going, guys. That's where it's going. That's where it's going. That's exactly how the conversation is going to go when they have these conversations with our children, family. We got to really put our foot down on this. We really got to this is why they're so quick to label the black community as homophobic. So they can ease in pedophilia. You dig? Real heavy stuff. Now you see earlier today they were talking that impeach Trump stuff. They're still talking all that Trump this, because Trump is losing his mind, but he's just talking white supremacist stuff. And they're talking about impeaching Trump and all this stuff. But understand this. If they impeach Trump, and we got to be ready, black people, we have to be ready at all times. If they were to impeach Trump, there's going to be a major backlash against Black Americans. The backlash is going to be against us. It's always against us, no matter what. It could be an argument between two other groups, but the backlash always hits us. It's going to hit us. So we got to be ready for that. Either way, if Trump wins, Trump loses, he gets impeached or whatever, we got to be ready. Because look, if something happens, if they impeach Trump, the Democrats and the liberals, they've already let us know they're not going to protect us at all. They're not going to do anything to help us or protect us. They didn't do anything to protect us during Obama. They damn sure ain't going to do nothing to help or protect us now. Y'all just better understand that. You got to be ready at all times. I'm going to put out a little quick survival guide. I've been wanting to put this out for the last couple of weeks. Just some little basic bullet points. I'm going to put it in PDF form and let everybody download it for free. Just little bullet points on what we need to do is stock up on food, stock up on water, stock up on certain things, be ready. Just a quick list of bullet points that everybody should have. I'm going to have that. I'll have that pretty soon. Probably when I get back from Boston. I'm going to be in Boston this Friday, by the way. We're having a screening of Hidden Colors 5 out there in Boston, followed by a Q&A with me out there in Boston at the Strand Theater. I hope everybody goes to hiddencolorsfilm.com to get their tickets for that, ladies and gentlemen. hiddencolorsfilm.com to join me in Boston. That's this Friday. So now what I want to talk about, today's topic, the main topic, because we've had so many topics today, we're talking about the 1619 Project. The 1619 Project, that was something put out by the New York Times. They put this out the other day, and a lot of the liberal Democrats and the left-wing folks, they were really promoting this 1619 Project as the greatest thing since sliced bread. The conservatives were pushing back on it, so they were having a little fake debate back and forth about this 1619 Project, talking about Black American history, giving, I guess, some bullet points about Black American history. Okay, this is the Democrats. This is all Democratic, by the way. Just be very clear. Everything about this is Democratic. And this is their way to kind of acknowledge Black people, because we're talking about reparations because of slavery. So this is the Democrats' attempt to address slavery so that they won't seem like they're doing the benign neglect policy, which they still are. Basically, it's like, we acknowledge slavery, but we're not going to do anything to rectify anything. We're not talking reparations. Yep, slavery started and slavery was horrible, and this is what happens. This happened, and things got better, and there you go. So that's basically the 1619 Project. They give some bullet points, and basically it's a lot of Hidden Colors cliff notes. They give a lot of stuff, a lot of cliff notes from the Hidden Colors series that we done talked about a decade ago. A lot of half information in there. And yeah, we saw Spike. He was on CNN promoting it. He had the 1619 shirt on, and they're promoting it. And what's interesting about this, some of the people who helped write it, they got a bunch of their Black writers to help write it. And some of these are the same folks that call us Hotep for talking about history. We talk about Black history, we Hotep. But when White Daddy co-signs them and they talk about it, it's so groundbreaking. And all it is a bunch of cliff notes from all the Hidden Colors films that we've talked about. You dig? Because they see the Hidden Colors series out here that has galvanized Black people globally. So they want to say, like, hey, look, we're talking about history too. Look at us. We're talking about Black history too. So, like I said, in this 1619 project, there were a lot of half-truths. They're not telling the whole story. Like, number one, even the 1619 date. Remember, black people were here way before 1619. That date is not accurate. I've broken that down several times. Even in Virginia, when they did a census out there around that time, around 1619, 1620, around that time, on the census, there were a bunch of black people already on the census living in that area. Also, 1580s, there were black people down in Florida that came over with the Spanish. 1526, I talked about in the area out there in South Carolina, the Spanish tried to have a settlement out there, and they brought some black people there. The black people rose up and rebelled and ran the Spanish out of here, and the black people mixed in with the native Aboriginal tribes. We've been here way, but this is documented by European scholars. It's very well documented. You dig? And by the way, shout out to the Haitian Revolution. They had this is the 22nd now. I think today is the anniversary of the Bois-Cayman ceremony. But like I said, the 1619 date is inaccurate. We were here before then. They just don't like us talking about black people being here in the 1500s because we did not allow ourselves to be in slavery. We fought the white supremacists back. So they don't want to start from there. They don't want to talk about how we whooped ass when we got here. They want to talk about how we assisted them when we got here. And that's why they want to go to the 1619. And even before that, even before the 1500s, we got the Olmecs, the Folsom people. I talked about that before. You had these black-skinned people who were here in the southwestern area of the United States 13,000 years ago. They would call them the Folsom people now. And what's interesting, the Folsom people, the bones and the archaeology of them, they were found in the early 1900s by a black man. It was a black former slave named George Majunkin. I want y'all to look that name up. George Mcjunkin. It was a black dude who was a former slave who discovered the Folsom artifacts. So that's poetic justice. This brother found it. Well, he discovered that. He was a former slave and a cowboy. George Majunkin. So y'all look that up. A lot of history we don't know about. But we've been here for a long time. We've been here for a minute. But the 1619 Project, they talked on little bullet points. We did this, we did that. They were talking on a lot of stuff that's been covered in Hidden Colors. They threw a lot of right-wing shots. Basically, all the evil right-wing white people were the problem in certain cases during slavery. So they were doing the partisan thing. They tried to blame a couple of right-wing white folks, and that was the whole thing. Was basically like black people were enslaved, black people dealt with injustice, black people dealt with Jim Crow, black people dealt with discrimination, but they never put it into the context of who all was doing it. It never told you in the context of white supremacy. This is the white supremacists doing this. Who's fighting the white supremacists? They made it seem like black folks was just having bad luck. No, you got to put it in context. See, what we do, with the Hidden Color series, we tell you what black people are going through and who's causing it and what you need to do to thwart it. Somebody said 1619 is to keep us attached to biblical prophecy. Real talk. They were talking a lot about religion again, and that's real important for the white supremacists to keep white Jesus in our minds. You dig? And even in the picture you're looking at now, you see the picture, the people singing gospel. They're singing a gospel song in the picture you're looking at now. They had a lot of that, spiritual this and spiritual that. And see, that's been the trick bag right there for us. That's the thing that really keeps us locked down by these white supremacists. Like when other groups, like the Japanese, when the Japanese were attacked by 2 atomic bombs. And remember, during World War II, the U.S. was fighting Germany. They were fighting a whole bunch of people. But they didn't drop 1 atomic bomb on Germany. They could have, but they understood one thing. We're fighting with them, but they're still white. Yeah, we're fighting against Germany, but they are still white. So we're not going to annihilate our white brothers. Now, those Japanese, they're not white, so we're going to drop 2 atomic bombs on them. You understand? And the thing is, the Japanese recovered because the Japanese, they never let go of their religion. They didn't bow down and accept Christianity. You understand me? The Japanese never accepted Christianity. That's why they were able to build themselves back up. They never accepted the white God. That's been our downfall. They've taught us to worship white God, meaning worship them. And that's the thing. When you worship a certain people who don't look like you as God, you're not going to fight them with your all. On a subconscious level, you're going to be dependent upon them, and you're going to hope that they preside over you at all times like a God. And a lot of black folks, deep down, they do. And that's why a lot of black folks get mad at folks like me, a lot of coons, because I go after white supremacists. And to a lot of Negroes, that means you're going after God. Especially Negroes who live in some of these other countries, they really worship white supremacy. And you better not say something bad about a white supremacist. When you go to some of these third world countries where there's dark people, the minute a white supremacist show up, they act like Jesus came. You dig? So when you get that out of your mind, you'll be all right. When you get that white God out your mind, you will be fine. But in this whole 1619 project, they would do all this black history, this, black people went through this, and then they'll have an advertisement in there for the color of change. Black history, and donate to the color of change so that we can fight for black and brown people. That's where it starts going off the rail. They start talking that black and brown garbage. Y'all doing all this history about black people, then y'all start talking about black, let's donate to black and brown? What the hell who was brown going through all this stuff? Who were the brown people going through all the slavery, Jim Crow? What brown people? I swear to God, black people should never use the term black and brown again. That's such an empty term, and that's a trick term, and it's a deliberate trick term to conflate black issues with immigrant issues. So when you say black and brown, you're equating immigrants with black people. Anytime you hear black and brown, the trick bag game is on. And that's what this whole 1619 project is, talking about black people arriving on a boat in 1619 as if we were immigrants. And Spike was talking, kind of conflate our issue with immigration and how we shouldn't, let immigrants go through this, go through that. No, they got to hold their own nuts. It has nothing to do with us. Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, we are not immigrants at all. We did not leave a country to go somewhere better. We did not leave a country to upgrade to another one. We came to a wilderness and built an entire country from the bottom up. We're different. Don't ever compare none of these other groups to that. You're talking apples and apricots. You're not even talking apples and oranges. We built an entire nation. Don't let nobody try to minimize that. We built the railroads, digged the ditches, built the bridges, created the agriculture. Remember, the white supremacists damn sure didn't do this. Let's be clear. Well, the white man didn't. No, the white man didn't do shit. When they came over here by themselves, they starved. I always emphasize that. When they went to Jamestown by themselves, they starved to damn death. Most of them starved. Go back to the 1500s when I told y'all the Spanish came over 1526. The Spanish damn near all starved to death. These people were starving when they came over here. Let's be clear, when they were doing it on their own, it wasn't working, and then the native population was hostile to them. They were starving. The natives were hostile to them. They didn't know how to grow, cultivate, because they didn't know how to cultivate and grow shit in Europe without the Moors helping them. This is why we need to know history. And it was black people coming over here. It was Moors coming over here, bringing in certain agriculture. We knew how to do that. I really, really, really wish we know our history. This is why you got to get the Hidden Colors films, dude. We break this stuff down if you don't have it. You dig? So we built this joint from top to bottom. We built it and created all the wealth. Yeah, they were eating each other. Over there in Virginia, I talked about this many times. During the starving time of Virginia, they didn't know how to cultivate food. They didn't know how to plant. The natives were hostile to them. So shit, they did what they did in Europe. They started eating each other. Look it up. This ain't, I'm not being facetious. This is what happened. This is real history. This is what happened around 1619. Let's tell all of it. This is what was going on. So we got to watch them, because this project, this 1619 project, is a way to kind of conflate intersectional issues. They're trying to intersect our history with immigration. You dig? They'll start talking about, well, we immigrated involuntarily. You watch little terms like that. No, we did not immigrate involuntarily. No. Watch their little trick words. And a lot of these little Negro organizations, they're really pushing this 1619 project. The Congressional Butter Biscuit Caucus, they're really pushing it. And let me tell you something. Let me play something for y'all. One of these people who's down with the Congressional Butter Biscuit Caucus, Representative Yvette Clarke. I'm going to play this clip of her. I played this on social media. I want y'all to listen to her. Now, she did a speech at the Congressional Black Caucus. Now, Yvette Clarke is Jamaican, by the way. Her family's Jamaican. She's not a foundational Black American. Now, I want y'all to listen to what this woman says. when talking about black people and immigrants. And look how slick these people are. Listen to
The
this.
United States is a nation of immigrants.
Right there. This is the narrative they like to push. This is the way they can try to erase us, talking about we're a nation of immigrants. No, we're not. We're foundational black Americans. We're not immigrants. Immigrants came over later. We are not comparative to immigrants. We are completely different.
And while some were captured and bought in shackles and enslaved in this nation earlier on and did not come of their own volition, this nation ultimately is a nation that has been repopulated over time by people who have come from around the world. That should be the basis from which all conversations about the future of this nation is conducted.
Whoa. Whoa. So when we talk about the future of this country, listen to what this fool who ain't even foundational black American, this immigrant, her damn self. Well, when we talk about black people and all that, let's start at immigrants. That's where we start the conversation. Let's just start it on immigrants and just ignore the people who built the country. This is what she's saying. And this woman is Jamaican, and this is our representative. Do you know how disrespectful that is? If I were to go to Jamaica and say that, I know Jamaicans built this country and y'all built it and y'all fought the British or whatever. But, us tourists and immigrants, we come over here. So let's start the conversation on us. I wouldn't make it to the airport in Jamaica saying some shit like that. This is a person that we elected. See, when we elect these fools and we don't vet them, this is the type of stuff they get away with. Hold on.
Of this nation is conducted. Because when we get to the point in our country where some folks take ownership of it and others don't, we find ourselves in a bad place, a place where we have a person in the office who can marginalize, who can divide, who can conquer, and who can subordinate others within the nation. So I wanted to set that as a platform.
Okay, lady, please. Lady, give me a damn break. See, we got to watch these folks that we put in office and they start talking that garbage. That's Yvette Clarke, who's Jamaican. Let me tell you something. She's part of CARICOM. She's part of CARICOM, and CARICOM, that's the Caribbean nations all getting together, and we're not included, by the way. In CARICOM, we're not included. But the Caribbean nations, they're trying to get reparations from the British and all these other places. They're trying to get reparations with CARICOM, and she's the part of CARICOM. But black Americans, we're not included in that. Now, she wouldn't say that to them at a CARICOM meeting. She wouldn't say that. Also, I pulled up some receipts on her back in 2013. This woman, and this is from CARICOM.com, by the way. It says Caribbean American Congresswoman Yvette Clarke has welcomed a plan by New York City to aid undocumented Caribbean immigrants in New York City to get jobs. New York officials say the city will spend $18 million to help undocumented Caribbeans and other immigrants find jobs. This woman gets our tax dollars, tells us go to hell, and use our tax dollars to fund other Caribbean immigrants like herself. They had $18 million in New York alone for Caribbean immigrants. So these folks come over here, get money and set asides from our tax dollars, and then start talking about Bodi Dakatas or lazy. Those niggas over there just don't work. Do you understand what I'm talking about? This is why you want to see why these Caribbean coons come over and start talking against reparations for us. The minute we start talking about getting reparations for foundational black Americans, Notice it's the Caribbean coons first. They're the main ones jumping in the conversation, talking down on it. They're the main ones undermining the reparations conversation, and now you see why. Because they get their damn reparations that's unearned. So when we start talking about getting money for us, that means all that set-aside money ain't going to them no more. All these millions of dollars that's secretly and low-key being thrown their way and allocated towards them, when we get reparations, they know it ain't going to them no more. So they go out of their way to sabotage the conversation. Notice that? Anytime we talk about reparations, it's always some immigrant coon jumping in the conversation talking about, y'all being xenophobic, man. Why y'all being xenophobic? We all brothers. All of that is to just derail the conversation. It's without rhyme or reason. The conversation just goes on and on and on because it's meant to derail. That woman helped facilitate $18 million in New York alone for her Caribbean brethren, and she's up here talking about, well, we shouldn't talk about black folks who descended from slavery. Let's start the conversation off on immigrants. You understand what we got out here, man? I'm telling you, these immigrants, too many of these immigrant coons, they have undermined us for so long, and we sat here not knowing. We up here talking about Pan-Africanism, our brother this and our brother that, we our brothers this. We all having this one-sided ass Pan-Africanism, and these motherfuckers are just eating high off the hog off of our resources. And Claude Anderson has been trying to tell us for years, we got to look out for our own group. We are our own ethnic group. And now I'm glad that we're taking heed to that message. Now you see where all their little money comes from. There's all types of little set-aside money for them. Remember, man, these folks come over from countries sometimes where they peeing and shitting in ditches. Then all of a sudden they come over here and they're able to fund businesses and all this stuff. Like, where did they get that money from? It ain't that they worked harder. They're using our money. They're using our goddamn money. That's just the long and short of it. You dig? But back to this 1619 project. Now, the kicker of this 1619 project, they started talking about the influence of music in black culture. They start talking about gospel and minstrel shows. And then they had something about Tina Turner. That was random. And then they went from talking about black music and this and that and closed it out with Lil Nas X. I'm like, what? They had Lil Nas X. I said, oh my goodness. The agenda is real. And let me read a quote from the article. They had a picture of Lil Nas X up there. You're tying him into, they literally crowbarred Lil Nas X into this story about Black American history. This is a quote from the article. 400 years ago, more than 20 kidnapped Africans arrived in Virginia. They were put to work and put through hell. 20 became millions, and some of those people found deliverance in the power of music. Lil Nas X has descended from those millions and appears to be a believer in deliverance. Are you motherfuckers insane? Do you know what leap of logic they had to use to crowbar him into the story? I told y'all, man, for the longest, Lil Nas X, and he knows this is an industry plant. This dude has been planted in the industry. They're using him for an agenda. he's always been used for. And this dude is a one-hit wonder novelty rapper. They got him on Time magazine. They put him in an article about Black history. Do you know how many other rappers y'all could have put in there? Again, they used his sexuality as a gimmick, and that's what they're doing. And they're going to teach this 1619 project. They want to teach it in schools. And they're going to make this a part of the Smithsonian, the whole thing. So they want to teach this in schools. They want to show you Black history. You were a slave. You went through hell. You went through Jim Crow. Now, look, you can be the next Lil Nas X. You can be the next gay rapper. See, that is so obvious that this dude is a plant at this point. And the end of the article basically started talking about some graduates from Howard University, from law school. They were talking about how legally Black people were enslaved by the law. Now Black people have graduated from Howard University Law School, and they started naming some random Black people. So basically the whole article was like, okay, look at what you went through in the past. Look at all you Black folks had to go through, and look how horrible the past was. Look at all the things you used to go through back in the day. Now, look at you now. You've progressed so much. You're graduating from Howard Law School. You have Lil Nas X, who's successful. Now everything is okay. And that's the gist of this bullshit 1619 project. It's basically some low-key intersectionality with the LGBT and immigration. That's all it is. So we got to watch when there's white-funded projects coming to us trying to tell us our history, because if they tell it, they're going to tell it half-assed, or if they tell it, they're going to tell it with an agenda attached. And that's acceptable. And you know, they don't put the blame on white supremacy. They just make racism is this formless, shapeless entity that's just out there. Racism is out there, but we don't know who does it. It's a shadowy, vague phenomenon. It's just it's monstrous, but it's out there. Somebody's racist, but we just don't know who. You understand? That's the game they like to play. But with my movies, we tell you who is responsible for the racism, and that's the white supremacists. Racism is white supremacy. White supremacy is racism. You understand? And we take away the vagaries. See, when you start getting too vague about stuff, that's a problem. When you start getting vague, that is a problem. Speaking of vague, I saw an interview with Jermaine Dupri today. They were addressing that whole Jay-Z thing because, you know, the word is that Jay-Z called Jermaine Dupri, told him not to take that Super Bowl deal with the NFL, and then Jay-Z turned around and signed the same deal he told Jay-Z not to take. He told Jermaine Dupri not to take. So Jermaine Dupri and one of his partners, they were doing an interview on Big Tigger's show, and boy, they were splaining. They were kind of dancing around it. Sounds like somebody done called them. So they were they were kind of pussyfooting around. Yeah, they were kind of dancing around it. They were like, well, I didn't say this, and, you know, well, me and Jay, we talk because we real good friends. They're just being real vague about stuff. And they sound like they were scared. If Jay-Z is scaring niggas, you know, I don't know what's going on with y'all out here. You dig? I don't know what's going on now. And look, a lot of stuff, when it gets too vague and too up in the air, just like with the whole Kaepernick thing. And the other day I was talking about how with the Kaepernick thing, things are just getting a little bit too vague. So I'm backing up off the bus. I talked about this the other day because things are just too damn vague and everything is up in the air, and now things are being infiltrated and now things are going to start being exploited. Well, I was talking about that last week, and a couple of days ago, the Know Your Rights camp and all these folks, they got some kind of campaign that they're doing, and they're clearly working with the Democrats. You know, that's Kaepernick's organization, the Know Your Rights campaign. And then they got some kind of, I just don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. And they had some shit where they were posting up pictures of Tarana Burke. I said, "Oh, I'm cool. Whatever y'all got going on, I'm cool. I'm not with this. I'm cool. Let me off on the next stop." I don't know what they're trying to do now. I got to keep it a buck. When I see Tarana Burke with something, I'm not a part of nothing she's with. So look, that movement, that's dead now. It's run its course. I won't say dead, but it has run its course. It served its purpose now. When Tarana Burke shows up, everything has jumped the shark. I'm cool. Yeah, that thing has run its course at this point. When you get a Tarana Burke and that crowd start coming in the room, there's a turd in the punch bowl. And I do not want to drink. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. I don't know what they got going on. I don't know what their agenda is. Yeah, when that's Tarana Burke, automatically, that's an automatic no for me. Sign me out. I'm cool. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know what they got going on, fam. I do not know what the agenda is now. I don't know what they got going on over there. You dig? But I'm cool. Yeah, so y'all won't see me co-sign none of that. You dig? Much love to Cap. Much love to Nessa. Yeah, it's way too many. Yeah, this thing is about to be a shit show. Now it's already going there now. Yeah, it's about to go somewhere. I already know, man. My spider senses are saying, it's already telling me this shit is about to go way off the rails into something else. Yeah, I'm cool. Unfortunately, it was good while it lasted. It was good while it lasted. You dig? It was a cool movement while it lasted, but now it's something else. And, you know, we will remember the good times. Yeah, but I'm abandoning ship on that one right there. You dig? So, yeah, if y'all see when the shit start hitting the fan, don't trip, y'all. Already know it's the shit show is gonna happen. So don't trip. Don't trip. But I digress. Anyway, y'all, that's been today's episode of Tariq Radio. Glad to have y'all tuning in. Don't forget, I'm going to be in Boston this Friday. We're having an encore screening of Hidden Colors 5, so join me. We're going to do a Q&A afterwards. I will be there chopping it up with the fam. Then we're going to do a meet and greet so y'all can meet a player. What's there to do in Boston? I've been to Boston, but I never just kicked it in Boston. When I go to Boston, I just stay in my hotels. There's a bunch of drunk white people running around downtown Boston when I'm down there, yelling with their Boston accent, "Move your car!" All that talk. So my Boston people, holla at me. But I'll be in Boston this Friday. And again, go to hiddenscolorsfilm.com to get your Hidden Colors 5 DVD, ladies and gentlemen. And I will holla at you guys Sunday.